Cooksey Mob, what's happening? Hey, we had Millville yesterday, and damn was it exciting. I love watching both the 250s and the 450s. I'm doing two separate videos because there's so much to talk about. First, I want to start with timed qualifying. I love timed qualifying. It's really fun to see how the guys break things down, how they figure out the track, who's chasing who, are lap riders getting in the way, is somebody pissed? You see some of the crashes, like poor Justin Cooper. He needs to chill down on timing. Like he went for it again and had a crash very similar to the one at High Point that hit his throat and caused him some problems. And then they do the overhead, they do the track map where they fly the drone over the entire track. It's really cool to see the whole track from that point of view. It was awesome. Ricky Carmichael did a great job narrating it until the very end.
Bumps before the right-hand turn over the Holy Schmidt. Paying homage to Donnie Schmidt, local rider, local pro.
And it's minor, but I can't help it. I'm trying to not say negative things about Ricky, but I'm going to fall off the wagon right here. Ricky got to the jump, the Holy Schmidt, the finish line, the big jump, and he called Donnie Schmidt a local racer, a local pro. And I about flew out of my chair. I'm like, you son of a bee. Like, that's not okay. Donnie Schmidt is a two-time world champion. He is in the Hall of Fame. He is one bad dude. Show some respect there, Ricky. Don't just say he's a local pro. That's disgusting. And he's one of my favorite riders. So Donnie Schmidt was one of my favorite riders. And maybe that's why it bothered me. So don't do that, Ricky. But, and they did a really cool thing when they brought in this doctor to talk about collarbone injuries. And he really broke it down in a scientific way. And he showed how plating the collarbone is risky. I loved it. I love some of the things they're doing in the broadcast. It's really good. But before we get into all that, I want to thank Complete Med Solutions. You guys know Coach Rob. He has a blood testing kit that will check your blood and find out what's going on. If you got fatigue, if you got something going on, Coach will figure it out. RideStrapped. You guys know RideStrapped, my favorite company, strap.com. RideStrapped.com. Use the code Cooksey for free shipping and get your Let's Go branding goggles. Then we got Epic Garage Designs. That's where the studio is. I love Epic Garage Designs. If you need anything for your garage, they ship anywhere. Cabinets, flooring, slat wall. Slat wall is the coolest thing you can put in your garage that will just get everything off the floor and make it look clean. And then CF7. CF7's got some really cool clothing. Use code Brody for 20% off for all the Cooksey Mob. So just use code Brody and you get 20% off at CF7. And now, let's get into this.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
Wow, that 250 race was awesome. I loved the first moto, seeing those guys go out there. All these guys believe they have a chance. It was almost like Paula, like a reset. You had RJ, you had J. Coop, Shimoda carrying that confidence from Southwick. They all believed they were supposed to win this race. They believe this is their shot to get back in the championship. And Hunter Lawrence, they know he's hurt. And they're like, okay, this is our time. We got to pounce. And they tried their hardest. But Hunter is a badass. Dealing with those hurt ribs. If you want to know how bad they hurt, I mean, he literally has to do something to like stretch them. He even did it during the moto where he put his hand down and kind of like, I don't know what it's doing to his ribs. And as soon as the race is over, he's unbuckling those pants because something's leaning on his side. He's got some pretty serious injuries that he's riding through, but he knew to smash these guys' confidence. RJ even said it after the first moto, like it really kind of broke him after Hunter just passed him and dropped him. Deegan kind of cracked under the pressure, I'm not gonna lie. But this happens to rookies. Let's not forget, this guy is a rookie. He's going to be an amazing rider. But yeah, he definitely felt the pressure, and you hit that rookie wall. That happens to football players, their rookie season, and you're not used to going the full grind. And they're hitting that time in the year where it's hard. It's the dog days of summer, and it's hard to dig down. Sometimes you dig down and it's just not there. I think that's what Deegan's feeling. Doesn't mean he's not going to be great. Doesn't mean he might not win another race. But Hunter was a beast. I mean, the fact that he was wiping his goggles before his tear-offs were gone shows that he planned on getting to the front. There was no just tear off and get past this guy. He knew he was going all the way to the front. That was his plan. That was his agenda, and he did it. And he really just stamped himself as the man. He's like, you're not beating me unless I beat myself. I'm the guy when I choose to be. And he let them all know that with that first moto. It was badass. Second moto, I couldn't believe that he ran into a lapper with a lap to go. those 6 points could haunt him. The guy he's really probably most concerned with in this championship is Justin Cooper. That's a 6-point swing. That's huge. That, you know, it would have been like 25 or 26 points. Instead, he's only, or it would have been, I don't know. I'm not good at math. But it would have been a 6-point swing for Justin Cooper. Will that come into play? I don't know. Hunter cannot have any more issues, and he has got to continue to fight through that rib injury and just get better and better. You could see during the moto, when the track was smooth at that first moto, how slow the Austrian bikes are. RJ, Vial, and those guys. When they're going up Mount Martin, when it's smooth, it's not about picking lines. It's not about technique. It's about pinning it. And early in that moto, they couldn't even hit the triple. Clearly, those Star bikes, the Pro Circuit bikes, the Honda, and the Honda might just be the way Hunter rides it, and he's so good, I almost don't even count that. But definitely those Austrian bikes are struggling with power. And it was great to see Austin Forkner make his return. Yes, he didn't get in the top 10, but let's not forget, Austin Forkner he raced 6 races in last year, all last year, 5 Supercrosses, 1 outdoor. He has essentially missed 2 full years. That's crazy. This guy needs to go out there, do exactly what he did, get gate drops, get moto finishes, and just gradually build himself up. I think he's just fine, and I think he did great. That Pro Circuit team, though, has some problems. I talked to someone inside the team, and they're like, listen, there's no team atmosphere. It's like they just show up and they do their own program. The guys don't like the bikes. Ryder D just wants to get to his gas. That's kind of was Joe's mentality until he got the win at Southwick, and he's like, oh, okay, well, no, I got a chance. I got to go for it. But he just wants to get to his Honda ride. It's bad news over there. The guys are complaining about the bike. Mitch doesn't want to hear it. Mitch is like, no, I give you a good bike. If you can't ride it, that's on you. And that's just his attitude. It's always been his attitude, but it's not working for him anymore. When you take what Star has done and they put everyone together and they have a team against you, it's hard to compete. And we're seeing the results of that come through. And also, the amateur program that's feeding Mitch riders is broken. Poor Jet Reynolds. For those of you that didn't notice, he didn't race. That's 2 weeks in a row where he has been sick. Something's going on with him. I was told he was so tired after a couple of the rounds and fatigued, just adrenal fatigue. He couldn't even remember the weekends. It's bad. He is probably the most heralded amateur that has not sniffed the pros. And I still think it can be fixed. It's salvageable, but he's got a long road ahead of him and he needs the right people around him. I don't think he's got them right now. And that program where they just shove you in there and say, go for it. If you do good, you keep your ride. If you don't, you're out. That's not what he needs right now. He needs someone to mentor him, to bring him through, to rebuild his body, and to help him. Hopefully that happens, but I don't know. It might be a really sad story. It might be one of the best redemptions you'll ever see in the sport. Time will tell. I'm really hoping for the latter. And I want to give props to MX Sports. I was super critical of starting greats, and causing problems in the first turn. And I need to give credit where credit is due. They noticed this, and they stopped prepping the ruts after the gate. The reason they don't prep those ruts is they want them to get separation before they get to that first turn to reduce those gigantic crashes like we saw at the first couple rounds. So props to them. I know it's little, but those little details are the difference between a huge crash and having the guys separated. And nobody wants a first turn crash. Nobody wants to see riders taken out of no fault of their own. So props to MX Sports for noticing that and doing something. That's all I ask for. This sport is dangerous. It's never going to be safe. It's one of the most dangerous sports on earth. But just like any sport, like IndyCars, sometimes when you get to a certain level, you have to slow it down. You don't just accept injuries are part of it. You do the little things that can maybe reduce that risk even just a couple percent, because that's sometimes the difference between a huge crash and not. So anyway, guys, that's it for the 250 class. I'm doing another breakdown on the 450s, and yeah, I'm just breaking up into 2 videos because I had so much to say. And when I do one video, it tends to, if I do a really long one, I don't know if you guys have uploaded on YouTube, it takes forever. It's a nightmare. But anyway, guys, subscribe and watch for 450 video.